Yes, thank you very much. Thank you first for inviting me and organizing this discussion on the dialogue, Belgrade-Pristina, and also Serbia dialogue, and the role of the European Union. Appreciate, and I think it's very much needed to have a discussion about the dialogue here in Kosovo. So before coming to the role of the European Union, I wanted to share some thoughts about the dialogue itself and how we see the dialogue also to make it maybe easier to understand why we are engaging in the dialogue. I've been in Kosovo for a while, and everyone in Kosovo tells me that the European path is something that unifies people in Kosovo. That's the unifying force or the policy of national unity. That's President put it, the only issue where all political parties and people actually agree on. So what does the European path mean? It means many things. It means it comes from sharing values and commitments to the rule of law, to socio-economic development, to human rights and freedoms, but all the way also to solving open issues, open problems through the dialogue. And that refers to the problems within the country or within Kosovo, as well as to the problems with others. We believe that it is in the national interest of Kosovo, first, to solve the open issues and open problems with Serbia through normalization, which we define as visible, as sustainable improvement of relations in order to improve lives of people. Second, we believe that it is in the national interest of Kosovo to solve relations within Kosovo, between Serbs and Albanians, through mutually agreeable integration in Kosovo. And third, I think we all agree that European path is in the national interest as well. The Pristina-Belgrade dialogue, or Kosovo-Serbia dialogue, is a tool that combines all of these three processes: Serbia, Kosovo, Serb-Albanians, as well as European process for Kosovo. And therefore, we see that the dialogue as such is in the national interest of Kosovo. There can be different views, as we heard already, on the way how the dialogue is being conducted, or the way how the dialogue is being communicated, or about the results of the dialogue. We can have different views, but I think there can be no dilemma, no question that there is no alternative to dialogue. There's no alternative to talking and solving problems through dialogue. So when assessing the dialogue and its results, one needs to recall and compare the situation of 2011, when technical dialogue started, or 2012, when political dialogue started. There was no European path for Kosovo at the time, due to its status issue with some of the member states of the European Union. The North was out under roadblocks and off-limits for Kosovars, with parallel MUP, with parallel civil protection, with parallel courts, and with bridge watchers on the bridge indicators. Kosovo was excluded from all regional meetings that were taking place, and Kosovo Serbs in institutions, which there were already at the time, who were at the time, were struggling without the support from Belgrade. So they were somehow in limbo. And there was no communication between the leaders of Serbia and Kosovo, to the point that they couldn't even stand in the same room. So that was the situation in 2012-11 when the process started. And I remember and also now I checked some of the notes from those times. I think when we were talking about the goals of the dialogue, and we said the goal should be to improve relations with Serbia and Serbs, to integrate Serb structures in Kosovo, to reduce tensions and fears that exist in Kosovo, and to speed up European processes. So against these goals somehow that we set for ourselves, we can also assess the progress so far of the dialogue. So when we talk about relations with Serbia and what we have achieved, well, what Kosovo and Serbia have achieved so far, first we have meetings at all levels, including the prime ministers, but also at working levels. We have cooperation between ministries of European integration. We have two liaison officers exchanged in each other capitals. We have Kosovo participating in all regional organizations. Just today, Minister Tahiri was participating at the foreign ministers meeting of Southeast Europe cooperation process. I would even dare to say that also Kosovo joining Olympics and the Football Association was easier also because of the dialogue itself. Serb structures are in the process of being integrated, or in the process of being integrated into the Kosovo legal institutions. Police is already integrated. Civil protection is in the process. Contract signed. OSCE told me yesterday that they are going to start the training for them before they enter into different ministries. Judiciary is as well in the process of integration. So we have integration going on. And there are customs that are being collected at the gates in the north, now for, I think, 2 years already. So all these, I think, are some of the results of this dialogue, and shows some progress in relations with Serbia. In relations with Serbs internally, I would just say that Serbs are members of the government, members of the parliament, and that all Kosovo mayors in 2013 were elected according to Kosovo law, including those in 4 municipalities in the north. As relations with the European Union, I think the Stabilization Association Agreement that we signed and you ratified, and we are just finalizing our ratification in Europe, is a proof that that there is European process for Kosovo, and I think the dialogue helped a lot in moving Kosovo through that process. So what is our role in the process? Something was said already. We see ourselves mostly as facilitator, sometimes as mediator, but mostly as facilitator. We are impartial third party that helps structure the communication and decision making between the two parties. So our aim is to help parties reach mutually acceptable and satisfactory solutions. It is the interest-based and problem-solved oriented process. So it is for the two parties to come with the ideas and proposals what should be discussed in the dialogue. And only issues that are agreed by both sides are then discussed in the dialogue. We as such don't make decisions what comes on the agenda. We can propose, listening to both sides, what could be the topics that could or should be discussed, but it's eventually up to the two sides to decide. The parties, so just to repeat that the parties, Kosovo and Serbia, are the owners of the process. We work, of course, at the different levels, and our role, apart from being mediator of the agreements, extends to monitor the implementation of the agreements, which proved to be very complicated and cumbersome. But we have a role in pushing the implementation forward. And here I think the leverage that we have through European processes helps. I think that's how we make it happen that implementation of the agreement is actually moving forward. Of course, we can discuss whether it should go faster or slower, but I think looking back we see that the results were done, and we continue to move forward to come to normalization of relations between Kosovo and Serbia.